It was just after 9:40 p.m. on a rainy Saturday evening in Fontana, California. Under the flicker of a single street lamp, two figures, friends, collaborators, confidants, walked side by side toward a dark SUV in an almost empty strip mall parking lot. The rain slowed to a drizzle. Their laughter faded into the hush. Then, a rifle's crack ripped through the stillness. In an instant, 40-year-old fitness influencer and mother of seven, Gloria Zamora, collapsed. Seconds later, her business partner and friend, 43-year-old Hector Garduno, fell beside her. There was no struggle, no warning. Only two lives cut short by a bullet meant for one. And the man who fired it didn't flee. He stood over the wounded pair, colder than the night itself, until a nearby off-duty sheriff's deputy, responding to the shots, made a U-turn, confronted the gunman, and shot him dead. That rifle blast was not random. It was the final act of a man who had once vowed to love the woman he murdered. This is the story of Gloria Zamora. This is True Crime Unbarred. Gloria Zamora was more than a screen name or a viral post. She was a movement. A former domestic abuse survivor who rebuilt her life, one workout, one podcast episode, one inspirational caption at a time. On Instagram, over 150,000 followers tuned in daily for her fitness tips, her unwavering smile, and her message of resilience for busy moms. On TikTok, 85,000 more watched her blend high-intensity training with raw honesty about overcoming fear. On her podcast, H Horizon, she spoke of breaking free from toxic relationships and reclaiming one's self-worth. Her voice was warm, unguarded, and real, a beacon for women who felt silenced. Yet behind every upbeat clip, there was history. A marriage marked by control, belittlement, and gaslighting. A woman who learned that the hardest push-ups happen off the gym floor, and that some fights must be fought alone, even in public view. Thomas Alberto Tamayo Lasaraga was Gloria's husband for 15 years. To the outside world, they were a couple with 7 children and an enviable partnership. But insiders whispered of name-calling, demeaning comments, and demands disguised as concern. "Why are you posting that?" he'd ask. "Who watched you today?" He monitored her phone. He showed up without warning. Gloria, ever the optimist, channeled the tension into podcast anecdotes. She'd say, "Love isn't about possession." But real life rarely follows a polished script. And while she never named him on air, those close to her recognized the pattern. A man unwilling to let go, and a woman determined to move forward. In mid-June 2025, just days before the fatal shooting, Gloria dedicated an entire H Horizon episode to divorce. She spoke of sleepless nights, the ache of breaking promises, and the fear of starting over at 40 with 7 kids in tow. "I deserve freedom," she told listeners, voice steady but heart raw. "I deserve respect. I deserve joy." At the episode's close, she quipped with bittersweet humor, "With husbands like these, who needs enemies?" It was a line meant to empower, but in hindsight, it sounded like a cry for help. And somewhere, Thomas Tamayo heard it. He tracked her movements, possibly via geotags, perhaps through shared calendars. But however he learned her whereabouts, he planned his ambush with chilling precision. On the night of June 22, 2025, Gloria met Hector Garduno at Suma Sushi in the Falcon Ridge Town Center. They'd connected through mutual friends and bonded over dreams of opening a women-led gym, a sanctuary for survivors like Gloria. By 7 p.m., they were seated at a corner booth, laughter and ideas flowing. They reviewed floor plans and social media strategies. They toasted to second chances. But outside, the parking lot slumbered under a humid Southern California sky. Tamayo arrived before 9 p.m., parking his dark SUV several rows away. He sat engine off, watching Gloria's car rest under the fluorescent lot light. For nearly 90 minutes, he waited. Patience was his ally. Finally, at precisely 9:42 p.m., Gloria and Hector emerged, umbrella in hand, heading toward her vehicle. The air smelled of grilled eel and soy. The night felt ordinary, until it wasn't. As Gloria unlocked the door, a .223 caliber rifle spit 2 rounds. The first struck her in the chest. She crumpled, her umbrella dropping with a soft thud. Hector turned, confusion and shock etching his features. He raised his arms in defense. The second bullet found its mark. He too fell. Screams erupted as diners dashed for cover and alarms wailed. In those chaotic seconds, Tamayo stepped forward, rifle still in hand, surveying the carnage. Then came the officer, an off-duty San Bernardino County deputy, sitting in his personal vehicle a block away, heard the shots. He U-turned, slammed on his brakes, and yelled commands. Tamayo raised the rifle at him. The deputy fired. Tamayo fell, motionless in the puddle of his own doing. 3 individuals lay lifeless in under 2 minutes. Only 2 would capture the world's heart. Within moments, Fontana police swarmed the scene. They collected shell casings, snapped photographs of crimson-stained asphalt, and blocked off the lot with yellow tape. Paramedics arrived, but it was too late. Gloria and Hector were pronounced dead at the hospital. Tamayo was declared dead at the scene. Investigators scoured his SUV and home, uncovering a trove of evidence. GPS logs placing him outside Suma Sushi for hours, threatening text drafts on his phone, and a pre-cut rifle stock hinting at deeper obsession. There was no doubt this was premeditated. No impulse buy. No random act of violence. It was an execution. Back home, the shock rippled through 2 families and an entire online community. Within 24 hours, Gloria's daughter Jaslyn launched a GoFundMe to cover funeral expenses and support her 6 siblings, ages 8 to 24. "My mom was senselessly taken from us," she wrote. "She leaves 7 children facing a future without her warmth, guidance, and unconditional love." The fundraiser shattered its $35,000 goal within days, ultimately raising over $33,000. Hector's daughters set up their own campaign. He was a loving, devoted man who gave everything for his 4 girls, they said. His passing has left a void no amount of money can fill. Both pages drew thousands of donations, turning grief into tangible hope. But no dollar can replace a hug from a mother or a laugh from a father. As news outlets picked up the story, the world learned of Gloria's vulnerability behind her fiery Instagram posts. ABC 7 quoted Officer Steve Reed. They were going through a divorce that led to this. "We don't know how he knew where she was, but she'd been at that restaurant for about an hour before the shooting." NBC4 added, "The off-duty deputy made a U-turn at the light, confronted the suspect, and shot him during the encounter." Global News reported that Gloria had shared her pending divorce on Horizon just days earlier. These accounts painted a portrait of a survivor silenced by the very system meant to protect her. Behind the statistics lay a painful truth. Separation is often the most dangerous time for abuse survivors. According to domestic violence experts, when a victim seeks to leave, the abuser's sense of control shatters, triggering escalation. The National Domestic Violence Hotline reports that nearly half of women killed by a partner are killed when they attempt to leave. But legal protections, like restraining orders, take time. Reports must be filed, hearings scheduled, judges convinced. And in those digital breadcrumbs, phone records, location tags, social feeds, abusers find their prey. Gloria's case underscores how modern tools meant to empower can be twisted into instruments of terror. In the wake of her death, advocates and lawmakers sprang into action. Inspired by her daughter's plea, San Bernardino County Supervisor released a statement supporting Gloria's law. Proposals to fast-track emergency protective orders, mandate immediate risk assessments when social media stalking is reported, and create an automated alert system linking GPS data to estranged partner watch lists. Domestic violence shelters reported a surge in calls, as survivors recognized the warning signs in their own lives. Candlelight vigils were held under flickering mall lights. Survivors clutched signs reading, "Your story matters," and "Leave is not an exit." Social feeds flooded with the hashtag Justice for Gloria, demanding that no call for help go unanswered again. Yet policy changes move at a glacier's pace compared to a heartbeat. Courts debate budgets. Legislators stall. Meanwhile, families grieve. Gloria's children will grow up without their mother's voice guiding bedtime prayers. Hector's daughters will mark milestones without their father's embrace. And the shopping center where it happened remains a shrine, a sad reminder that evil can lurk behind everyday routine. So what can we, as a community, do? First, listen. If someone you know hints at fear, don't dismiss it as drama. Second, document. Encourage survivors to keep records, screenshots, audio clips, dates, and times. Third, report. Reach out to local domestic violence hotlines or law enforcement the moment stalking or threats emerge. Fourth, fund. Donate to shelters, legal aid organizations, and victim support funds. And finally, speak. Share stories like Gloria's. Because awareness is the first step toward change. Gloria Zamora lived out loud. She lifted others, spoke the truth, and dared to start over. But even her courage couldn't silence a bullet fired in the night. Her death, and Hector Garduno's, demand more than mourning. They demand action. If this story moved you, please subscribe to True Crime Unbarred, hit the like button, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into Justice Unbarred. Share this video with your friends and on your social platforms. Together, we can keep Gloria's voice alive and work toward a world where survivors find safety, not tragedy, when they choose freedom. Thank you for watching.